Saturday, the 28th of February, 2026 at 1:04 p.m. here in Amsterdam, North Holland, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Welcome once again to our Cosmic Journey. It is your dev and design podcast that has two guys that worked a lot on archiving and archives. I'm your archivist. I am your designer, Jake. He is an archivist too. He is your engineer, Trey. Hello, Trey.
Hello, archivist Jake.
Good birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Good birthday to you. I don't know.
Birthday.
Good birthday. I don't understand why.
Yeah, why do you have a happy birthday, but it's like good everything else?
Yeah.
Good
I guess you would say fine birthday in Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say like fine Christmas.
Good birthday.
Yeah. Good birthday to you.
Good birthday to you.
You know, this is what happens every so often. If I have a birthday on a Saturday, Mr. Henry has a birthday on Saturday, so he gets 4 weeks after me exactly. And so it's been 4 weeks since my birthday. Feel free to go back to that episode up there to go take a look at it. I think it's episode 120, so 124. How exciting is that for everybody? Today's episode is called One for the Archives because we have worked a little bit on more sync features, not only things that are below the covers, which Mr. Henry will talk about, but also things that are above the covers, things that we would have when you start syncing, such as like we'll have stuff in your library and then we'll have stuff that is kind of outside of your library, which is called your archive. Very good, everyone. And then
you didn't even give them a chance to answer.
They answered in their own minds. They did it right with me. I appreciate that. The good viewer doing that. And then we'll talk a little bit, of course, we'll show you a little bit more about like what mobile chart views might look like. But before we get to all that, of course, we always start with the check-in question. Mr. Henry, it is your check-in question. Get excited about it. I am excited about it. Are you excited about it?
I'm so excited about it. Cut to me, my face.
Cut to your face. Your face is cut.
What creative endeavors do you plan to foster over the next little bit? You know, you could pick a time frame.
What creative endeavors?
Near term, long term, whatever.
The creative endeavors.
The reason I
yeah, where's this coming from?
Is because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Mentioned. And I was just looking up the stuff in astrology that you look up during a solar return. One of the things that I was looking at was my annual profections, which is an astrological technique. We don't need to get into the details, but I'm entering a fifth house year.
Scorpio.
In Scorpio, yeah. So
water sign still. So remember it stings, but it cries.
Yeah. Still a water sign, but and my Mars is interestingly placed. Anyway, we don't need to get into the details, but it will be marked by creative endeavors and giving birth to things and sort of stuff like that. So this was kind of like why this idea of like what do you do for creative outlet that, or what would you like to be doing for creative outlet that is not work related and not like client client work related.
I've been very inspired lately rewatching some episodes of Office Hours Live with Tim Heidecker. If you don't know this show, you go watch that episode up there. That was great. It had a candidate for Senate from Maine and also had a musician that was called Tyler Baseball. It's like just great. And
it's a great show.
Throughout that process, and I like that Tim is a very creative person, but there's also the Holy Trinity. So there is Vic Berger IV and DJ Doug Loosenhop. And Doug likes to create games like I do. And every time that Doug creates a game, it inspires me that I would like to create games as well. And one of the games that he created was a mashup where you mashed up the title of either an artist or a song with an artist or a song, and he overlaid the vocal track that was isolated from the musical track that was isolated, and he created these very interesting mashups that really inspired me. And then he created a bonus video to explain how he did all of these mashups, which really excited me. So it's like games plus process, and it was like he's kind of funny, like structure wise, though he thinks in a kind of structured way the same way I do, but he's also a really creative dude. So Doug Loosenhop, love you. The mashup game, love that. More games. And so I'm thinking about like either going forth and like really pushing into the games I've already created and then messing them up, or perhaps maybe even creating a new game, because why not? So that's where my creative endeavors are going. What about yours, Mr. Henry? Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I love that because I feel like any year where there's a lot of Jake creative energy going into games is a really fun year because we get to prototype and test a bunch of things, which are generally just that part of it alone is super fun. So I really love that. For me, I think the primary thing, so I mentioned before that I was working on what I call my adult coloring book, which is basically doing tutorials on using Blender to like create 3D scenes and render them and stuff like that. And I'm going to continue to do that because it is really fun and it's a creative process, but it's very like Bob Ross creative, you know, it's like just a very soothing kind of nice thing. But I have also been watching videos on Minecraft creators. So Hermitcraft is there's a
Point up to the corner. Point this way. There you go. Hermitcraft is up there.
And was just like really very inspired by like some of the stuff that they do there. And because, my 2026, I declared that I would only play one game minus minus playing games with my sister.
Yeah, a game.
But for myself, when I'm playing a game by myself, it will only be one game this entire year, and that is Minecraft. And so I've been kind of deep sinking into Minecraft, and now I'm kind of like at the point where I'm like, oh man, I could kind of actually see how I could kind of fall into the rabbit hole of doing kind of interesting build stuff.
Nice.
It's kind of like taking the Lego concept to the next level. So anyway, so I think that's going to be a creative outlet for me.
Sounds amazing.
In the near term.
If you have a better creative outlet, either for yourself or for others, let us know in the comments below. We are all about co-opting other people's creative outlets for our own pleasure and perhaps profit. You never know.
And inspiration. Like both of our answers to that question were because of things that we were inspired by.
That's true. And so let's get inspired by you. Post in the comments below. Do it. Don't think about it, just do it. All right. Mr. Henry, could you be so kind as to talk about your progress with Sync, and if you would be so kind also to show a little bit about this archive that we created?
You know, I would love to do that.
Great. Happy birthday, by the way.
First, I'll just quickly cover an update on Sync because we want to keep letting folks know where we're at with that. That is my primary focus and has been for several weeks now and will continue to be for probably a couple more weeks. And this week, I got done a lot of the backend plumbing after figuring out some of the harder design pieces for the backend. I got some of the backend plumbing done, so we now have mutations stored in the backend, and so we now have this kind of system-wide understanding of like what a mutation is and how they get stored. And then I was just working on device registration, so we also need to know which devices have what version of things. And so this is kind of how synchronization works. So when you're going between your computer and your phone and things like that, we need to know which device that is and what changes it needs. So that's a lot of the stuff that I've been working on this week, and I'm very happy with the progress on that. Just very quickly as well, before we show archive, there were some bug fixes that went in this week as well. Some of them will not be actually visible to users, which is actually great because at least one of them we caught because it was showing up in our error reporting in Sentry.
Look at that, we have analytics.
Yeah,
errors.
Yeah, and we've shown that in the past. And so
I have no idea what the episode. I'm not even going to point.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter.
No clue.
But Sentry is great because it gives us visibility into errors and things like that. But we were kind of flooding it with a lot of information from environments that don't matter, like our staging environment and even engineering environments. And we paired all of that back, and it has reduced the noise in Sentry significantly, so that we were able to actually target specific things that were happening in the wild.
We can see errors from you, not us.
Yeah, and one of the fun things about that is that we get user agent information, which is it's non-personally identifying, but it does tell you things like it gives you general location.
Hey,
so
you're like,
it'll say like,
oh, you're from the
city
East
or
Coast of
state
the
if
United
it can.
States, and you're from Poland, and you're from the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Anyway, yeah, so it's just really cool, and we were able to strategically fix some important things because we narrowed down the amount of noise there. So I just
Amazing.
wanted to point that out as well, because that was a cool thing that happened.
Cool.
Let's show archive.
Let's do that now. All right, we see your screen over
Okay.
there. You can see.
Looking at you pointing up there.
Yeah, like that's where your screen exists over here in my space.
Okay, so we're just looking at, I actually just went through the first run, and here's my birth chart. I'm just going to duplicate this. I think there's also a little bit better animation here.
Yeah. We're using motion. We're using React Motion here. It used to be a little chonky.
Yeah,
but now we dechonked it.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. So I can duplicate my chart. We've already shown this before. And then
I think the other thing that Mr. Henry also fixed is that now when we use motion libraries, but you have reduced motion on, like we actually take out those motions. So if you are not the type of person that likes motion, I think we do a fairly good job now reducing the motion between.
Yeah,
things.
we can quickly show that actually, just with the just with that.
Yeah.
Because
but when we go between archive and library, there's a lot of motion that happens.
Okay, so we'll switch to simple for that. Okay, so so I just created this duplicate chart, and I gave it a different title just so that we can make sure that we see what happens here. And whereas before this used to be a delete button, this is now an archive button.
And now it's gray. And now you see there's a toast at the bottom that says we've archived one chart.
Right.
Where did it go though?
And it's a batch operation, so obviously you can archive multiple things. And then if you click this little tab here, then you come to the archive view. What?
Yep. And
let's put some more things in the archive.
Yeah. So let's duplicate that, and then duplicate 2, and then duplicate a couple more, and then also, oh no! Before you do that, go back. Oh, sorry. Bring those back in. Bring them out of the archive. How does one do that? You unarchive.
Here, do you want me to unarchive all of them?
No, just 3 of them. There. Now go back to library. Now add transits on 2 of them.
Okay, so then we'll put these back in to archive. And then if we switch over to the archive, then you can see that we order them by last opened, and we show each moment that is associated with it. And it's a little separate rows here, just so you can see the details. And obviously, in this view, you don't necessarily need to see a lot of fancy details like we show on the card. This is more just like a management view.
Yeah, this is just here to say like, oh, these things are not in my library, but are still syncing. And if I don't want them at all, you can hit up there that trash all button or one of those. But one of the things I wanted to show was if you go back and forth between the library and the archive, you'll notice that not only does the table and the chart cards move, but also the now bar at the bottom also comes in and out in a very fun way.
Yeah.
So it goes, and you have to make that sound effect when you do it.
We will put sound effects in this product one day.
One day this will have sound effects. It will not be done by me. It will be done by a professional firm, because I have a hypothesis that professional sound brings forth professional outcomes. That's a weird way of saying that.
It sounded very CEO, though.
It sounded very CEO. I am brain dead. I basically have had a lobotomy and can only say CEO things now.
Basic. So you can trash things from here. We already showed that you can unarchive them. So maybe that got edited out. Now we're showing it.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
No, we did the right thing. So now let's switch to Stellar Light so we can take a look at this in Stellar Light. You, of course, just pressed G, then S.
Yep. And then G, then H.
G, then H.
Oh, I added a new one. I slipped a new thing in.
What is it? I don't even know
G, then
this.
N.
What?
Yeah.
Go to now.
Go to now.
G, then N, everybody.
Yeah, that's a new one.
So back to Stellar Light. So go back to the table.
Oh,
the archive. Ooh, look how pretty that looks.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Good birthday to thee. Yeah, it was a good birthday. So we talked about sync and we talked about the archive. Let's show the in progress version of the tabular chart view that we have set for mobile and for tablets. All right, so Mr. Henry, if you were to take this very aptly named natal chart copy and start to make it a little bit smaller, what you'll see now is it will pop back into that tab view or the tabular view. But now what you can see is because this is a quadrant-based house system, we now put the house cusps along with the house numbers and the signs and all of that good stuff. If you're not using whole sign houses and it's not entirely indicative that the house and the sign are together, this is a way in which we're thinking about how we could show the cusps along with the placements and the signs and all that good stuff. Now, does this work? I mean, it works in that you can see it, but does it work for you in a practitioner kind of like flow? We don't know yet. And that's part of the fun of doing new stuff. This is why we like new things, because when we do new stuff, then we can put it on our phones and do a thing with it while we're out and about. And then when we have an astrological moment where we need to use this thing, we can then say to ourselves, this works or this doesn't work.
We can also potentially check in close to what we have as a feature flag.
And then we could put it under a thing and give it to people.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I know at least one person that would be very helpful in evaluating this, whether or not they would like it or not, who knows? And that's the thing is that like one of the things that designers need to learn, and something that I would try to teach designers, is that it doesn't much matter whether or not someone likes or doesn't like the thing that you're doing. What matters is if they care. Because sometimes we can make things so small in tests that people can't notice or they don't care about it. And like that's the worst. So be bold. At least it gives someone something to react to. And then when they see something like this, they can either give you their very positive or very negative reactions. I can almost guarantee you with 100% certainty that every single astrologer that sees this view will have an opinion about it.
Oh yeah, I had several opinions about it. And I just want to go through a couple of them really quickly because I think viewers might experience this as well. There are two things I think that you might have an initial visceral reaction to, but you should take a little bit of time to actually examine those and try using this, because the first thing that I noticed is that it is not proportional. It is purely just a list. So the fact that something that is, what's a good example here? 19 degrees from 27 degrees. They're right next to each other. There's no difference between that and something that is 2 degrees away from its, or
like you can see here that like there's nothing in Scorpio.
In Scorpio, yeah. But it still has, it's still showing its house cusp. But so it's a list, right? Like it's think about it more like a list and less about proportional. So there was that. The other thing is that you might notice that the house numbers over here, you might be like, well, why is it saying that Jupiter is in the first here when it's clearly in this block of the 12th? Because this house is the projected out house from the inner ring, and this is the second ring. So this is the transits in this case. Because in this case, we're looking at my natal chart plus this now moment. And so this is actually Jupiter in its first for that ring. Yeah, so you can see that Jupiter here is in its first. But Jupiter is in Jupiter retrograde in transit is in my 12th. We had gotten this feedback actually from a couple of people early on of, well, how do I know which house the thing is in for its own ring unless I do that as a separate chart or whatever. So this is a view that actually does give you that information a little bit easier than having to click on it and see it in the detail.
The big hypothesis here is that the world of astrology is now littered with rings and rings and rings of data. And there are some times when rings are not the appropriate way to get the data across. I will give you an example of zodiacal releasing. There is a zodiacal releasing view that is like 4 rings that show you the L1s, the L2s, the L3s, and the L4s, a ring upon ring upon ring, and it is a nightmare to look at.
It's incomprehensible. It's actually not usable.
It's not usable. And the thing is that you have to ask yourself, why do designers keep doing rings and rings when you obviously have a different way to display the data that is more comprehensible, that is actually denser in information and more understandable in that way. And so this here is my love letter to the astrology community to say, please use the rings when they are circle charts are great. We'll never get rid of circle charts. But circle charts, if they don't work for the task that you're trying to do, figure out zodiacal releasing periods, or they don't work on the device that you're using, like a rectangular device, stop using the freaking circles. It doesn't work.
Look, sun at 9 degrees 54 minutes. Sun at 9 degrees 55 minutes.
Hey.
It's actually after my birthday now.
It's after your birthday, so no more good birthday to you.
It's astrologically after my birthday.
It's astrologically birthdays in the past. So we'll just wrap it up. Mr. Henry, what should the good viewer do with their time and energy moving forward?
Kill the Ender Dragon in Minecraft.
Go to
That's what I'm doing
Minecraft.
tonight.
Go kill the Ender Dragon. Maybe do it with a friend or a nibbling. You never know.
Yeah.
Be well. Take care. Have yourself a lovely weekend. Wherever day you watch this video, we love seeing your faces every single week. And we're going to be here again next week for you. And until then, take care, be well, and goodbye.